There's a difference, I guess, between being freaked out by things that you imagine and being freaked out by things that you actually see.
This, I have to say, was the most terrifying experience, but yet I don't know why I didn't react to it, and that bothers me. The hunting in Ohio is awesome. We have some great big trophy deer in Ohio, and we happen to have some of the biggest right here on our own property. It was the most beautiful night to deer hunt. It was the second day of season. I wanted to be getting my, run in the woods to hunt. I was really excited about it. There was band over at the high school. By the time I got to my deer stand, I could hear them. It was all settled in. Didn't see nothing coming down the pass. Trails of birds, crickets, everything were normal wood sounds. When you're hunting, you have two of your most keenest senses, is your hearing and your eyesight. All of a sudden, the woods went to this dead quiet. If I had dropped a pin out of that deer stand, it cut off. No birds, no crickets, no nothing. The sun's still up. We were not calling for bad weather that night. It was a great night to hunt. All of a sudden, I thought I had like a mote in my eye. I even took my finger and wiped my eye, like when you get that fogginess over your eye, like it's just, I look and I'm thinking, what is this thing in the trees? It looked like a large piece of saran wrap. It's the only way I can describe it. But this thing was very wide. So I'm up 14 foot and it hung quite a ways down. And I'm thinking, what is this thing? It didn't really scare me at that time until it moved and formed the arm that reached over to the other tree. It reached over about 12 to 14 foot, and then it all, like a blob, like sucked into it, and it went to the whole other tree. I had this very euphoric feeling like something ain't right here. Normally at that time, I'd have probably got down and stopped hunting, but for some reason I didn't.
So, as you're sitting in your blind and you're looking across, where did the blob come from?
I have no idea. It just appeared in the one tree. As it was moving through the woods, it went from like tree to tree, and then it disappeared. It didn't continue on. So where it went, I don't know. It's like it just, right before my eyes, vanished. And I don't remember taking the picture, but being married to who I'm married to, Dr. Bruce Maccabee, he always said, if you see anything weird, get a picture. I don't recall actually when either that the sounds had returned, because it's like I don't remember. That's not me to this day. Normally I would probably crawl down, come run in the house and say, you ain't gonna believe what's back there in them woods.
How much longer do you think you stayed in the stand?
About a half hour till sundown when it's time to come out.
The sequence of this is Jan goes out to hunt. We have guests show up. We're having dinner. She comes back from the hunt. She says nothing about what happened. It was strange. The guests are about ready to leave. Later on, Matthew sends me an email. There was a sighting by a number of students and faculty at the high school band practice just before dark.
I'm like, holy crap, maybe it has something to do with what I saw in the woods. And Bruce goes, what? And I said, I forgot to tell you about what happened in those woods to me tonight. And I'm reading this from Matthew, and then I start really I get goosebumps. He said, this light appeared above the big stadium lights of the football field. Had Matthew not sent that email, I'm not sure if I'd have remembered even that night to say anything.
How many kids were on the field?
At least 30 to 40, I would say.
And was that the high school band?
Yes.
And so this was just before you guys went back to school?
Yes, band camp. Late August.
Late August. So what time of night do you think that was?
Between 6 and 7. We were rehearsing normally out here about 6, 7 o'clock, doing our normal routine, when all of a sudden there was this bright light in the sky that just came out of nowhere. And we all just kind of stopped and looked at it as one.
Where was the light?
So the light was anywhere, it was above the tree line for sure, just kind of hovering in the skyline. Close enough that it could catch your attention, like it shouldn't have been there, I guess. If it was some man-made thing, it was too low to be there.
Okay. What was the weather like that night?
Clear and hot. Typical August Ohio weather.
Okay. What color was it?
Candle orange. As far as I could tell, the thing had no definable edges to it. There were no dimensions. It was just kind of waxing and waning till it just zapped out. You know, our band director, who never stops for anything, he stopped and turned around and looked at us and he goes, what the hell was that? Before I had time to even think about what I was seeing, it was gone. And then it was just kind of like an imprint in your mind, like I've seen something strange.
So in your gut, are the two issues related?
I often wonder now. All I can say is it happened within the same time frame, basically, as my experience here. Probably a half a mile over there, as the crow would fly.
This is a BlackBerry. On the back, you have the lens. It's not like the modern ones that have a camera on the front as well as the camera on the back. So I'd be taking your picture right now, but I would not be taking my picture. Something happened to that camera. I don't know what, but there's hard evidence of some weird thing that happened. She took a couple of pictures of herself before the event, which provide a fixed point of investigation, you might say. And she took another picture afterwards. So you have the camera phone doing its normal thing before and after, but right in the middle of this one photo, that something bizarre happened. The picture she took, the resolution somehow changed for that one picture. You could manually change the cell phone 1600 by 1200, 1024 by 760 or something like that, and 640 by 480. But it got changed to 500 by 400 or something. Numbers that don't exist. I don't know how to make it do that resolution. You'd have to get in there and rewire it somehow, or change the software. But even changing the software doesn't change the number of pixels along the edge of the sensor. I don't know how to explain this filamentary stuff. I can't imagine what it looks like is well focused. I don't know what that is.
I've had people write to me and say, well, what that is Jan took a picture of her own hair.
My hair was back through the back of the ball cap. Where it adjusts, it was tied back.
So there was no part of you that could have been in that
No
frame.
way, no way.
It would be possible for her to take a picture of her hair if she put her hand back there. But that wouldn't change the resolution of the camera or the bite size of the picture.
So Jan, let me ask you, since that has happened, has it changed your life?
Yeah, I've never been back in that woods to hunt that. I actually ended up buying a redneck deer blind. I mean, I want something surrounding me.
You can imagine if you saw in the woods some strange thing like that, like the predator, you'd probably be leery about going back there again too.